Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of this vlog. So today we're back on the ID3 once again, and one of the biggest issues I have with this car, being the fact that it's only 23 years old, is parts. They are far and few in between, and the ones that are available are extortionate, which means it's difficult getting bits and pieces in, and I'm having to order loads of bits from abroad. So to keep the program going and not get you guys bored, we're doing other things, and we are doing the ID3 today. And today we're going to be taking off some airbags because I've got a really good deal, and I'll explain that in a second. And we're also going to start doing some of the bodywork at the back, or at least pulling it out so that we can get it ready for when it goes into the body shop to be repaired, because the more work we do, the less work it is for them to do, which means cost less. At least that's the plan. Let's get on to the car. Right, so today we've got a couple of jobs we're going to do. The TTS is now sold. He's going off tomorrow. I've got to drive up north to meet the guy who's going to collect it, but he's sold. But we're going to concentrate on this car. So I have found a company that will sort out the airbags for me, and more importantly, restore the dashboard back to OEM spec. Their only requirement is obviously that we ship all the stuff to them, and then they'll do an OEM repair. Got a very good rep, and I will bring you there. Once that's all done, I will reveal who the company is, so if you need the same service, you can get the same thing done. They're also going to refurb the seat belts, and on these later cars, not only do you have the front seat belts and the tensioners, but you also have rear seat belts. And if you look at this one, this seat belt is tighter than the tight thing. Let me demonstrate. So you can see that it's proper tight. And this here, I think this is broken by design. I'm not sure if it is actually broken or whether it's just deformed like that, but it certainly does look broken, so we'll probably end up having to replace this panel as well, which is a real shame, but it is what it is. In the meantime, let's work on getting this seatbelt out. Now on the surface it just looks like it's one bolt holding it in place, but I can't be sure. I can just see one bolt here, unless there's something hidden behind here that I can't see. But let's work on getting that off for now. Right, so that's both seat belts off. What we need to do now is just unpick the little latch, and then we can take off the, here we go, that's one, do the second one. And that's it, seat belts are off. Now we're just going to need to unbolt them from down below. Next we need to do the fronts. Right, okay, so just taking off the side here. This is a seat belt. You can see the pre-tensioner has really gone off on this. It's really tightened. There's a pre-tensioner down there, which is good. Someone has been in here because they've gone and broken off this, which is brilliant. Thank you very much. Some people just don't understand how these things work, that you literally just do that and then it will come away like that. Look at that, simple. don't do that, don't break it in there. Now that's useless. Anyway, right, let's get this out if we can get it in there, because that thing is tight. Okay, she's out, so at least we can loosen that seat bit out, and then hopefully we'll be able to get her out. Right, to get the tensioner out, it's just one 17-inch bolt or 17mm bolt. Literally, you just peel back the carpet and then twist out the nut like I'm doing now, and then once that comes off, eventually there she goes. Then that should just slide out. Famous last words. Let me grab it out and then I'll show you. So there you go, there's your pre-tensioner. I'm going to keep this at the back here, because if I send this off I probably won't get this bit of plastic back. But literally you just wobble it out and the entry comes out, and there you are, pre-tensioner. Right, let's get this off, and then we can rinse and repeat and do the next one. Actually, what we'll do is we'll do this. We're not going to do the next one, you've seen this one. We'll do the steering wheel. Okay, so for the seats, the steering wheel airbags, I think some of them might have had a go at these. Now normally there is a little hole, in fact there it is there, little hole there, and what we do is we just maneuver at that little hole, and that hopefully should push the airbag off. So we'll have a little play with that, because in the pot somebody has actually had a go at this already. Look at that, it's already split. So I reckon someone's trying to get it. I think someone has tried to repair this and couldn't repair this car because of the they found out about the airbag, the pyro fuse, and so just decided to give up, because this is not the first ID3 that I've seen up for sale again after being purchased through auction. Just quickly talk about the seats. Obviously the seat airbag has gone off. There's two ways I can do this. I can get the airbags, and they're £170 each, or go the way I have currently done, and I've just bought a new seat for £195, which makes perfect sense to me. So that's what we've done. We've bought a new seat, and absolutely fine. The airbags are not deployed. This is the mistake I made when I had the S3. I bought a new airbag and then I had the seat repaired, and then it cost me about 400 quid. Well, it was £195 and we're done. Right, I'm gonna have a quick play with this and then I'll come back to you. Well, turns out to be the standard VW system, 2 hooks and straight off. Really easy to do. Right, so we've got an airbag in there that needs to come out. So we'll just pull up the little hook, and then we'll hook the bag out. There she goes. So it's easy when you know how. Trouble is, when people don't know how, they get themselves in all sorts of trouble. Right, so let me work out how to undo all of this without breaking anything, because these are really delicate and they break easily, and then I'll show you the end result. And there we go, one airbag out. Very easy to do. Basically you just pull the latches, these things here, see these? You just basically pull them up with a little pry screwdriver like so. You literally just push them up that way towards that black pin, and then they come off the latch and you just pull it off. VWs are much easier to do than Audis. Audis are a real pain to get out because it's a pin that you got to push and then you got to maneuver it, and it is so difficult. It took me hours to do my S3, but these are really easy. But it looks like whoever had this vehicle before, who tried it, was obviously trying to get it out, because you can see here they've pried it apart because there's a little hole there, but that hole is literally just that little inspection hole there. I don't know what it's for, but they've done it wrong. Shouldn't have done it that way. Okay, good. Right, right, so we got to get the dashboard off as well, and I'm just looking. So unfortunately, this is one of those ones where we have to take off the steering wheel to get to it, but that's no bother, because as you can see, the steering wheel is here. It's just one big spline, and then it will just pop off, and we just undo a couple of switches. We have to be careful with these because these do break really easy, but once you take those off, then it'll be straight off, and we'll leave the cock spin there because we don't want to destroy that or damage that, but we will take off the indicators and the clock when we figure out how. Right, okay, I think we're going to look at doing some body work now. Okay, so as you can clearly see, we've got a lot of damage here on this wing. What I'm going to try and do is push some of this out and see how much of a repair we can actually make, and whether or not these doors are actually salvageable. Not worried about these for now. For now I want to concentrate on just this area here and see if we can push this out and make it look slightly better than what this is now. Let's have a go and see. Okay, so we managed to push this out, which is good. Now what we want to do is see if we can push this corner out here. You see where it's curved in there, so we'll push this out first, just bring it out level to where it should be. So this should be out there somewhere, and we'll see how we go with that. But impressed with that. I didn't take much pushing at all. Okay. Right, okay, so it may not seem that much, but what we've actually done by pushing this out, making it more level, I mean, it isn't level by all no means, but by pushing it out a lot more, we've now brought this down and made it more workable. So this cap wasn't working before, I couldn't get this open, but now I can, and it's more in line. It needs a lot more work, and I'm going to do some more on there, but you can see that actually we might be able to just push a lot of this out. Even the crease in the corner here, you can see this here, this needs to come down further. It needs work, let's put it this way, but I think removing the bumper will help with that. It will allow us to see a lot more, then we can work on this and then just make it a little bit more easier to then allow the body shop. It's also giving me confidence that the doors might be saved. We might be able to save the doors, but I'll let the body shop make that judgment call. But I will probably try and push this door out. I think maybe the front door might not be savable. It's probably might be cheaper to just replace that, but certainly the back door 50-50 I'm thinking. Yeah, okay, so hopefully you enjoy that. But this little tool here I bought about 3 years ago. It's worth its weight in gold. It is so versatile in what it can do. I'm so pleased that we've been able to just do this little bit here and make that much of a difference. Okay, let's move on. Right, so we've taken the liberties of taking off the underline. You can see the high voltage charging leads there going in. We've done that so we can just find somewhere to push. What we want to do is now we want to try and push this out to bring this out. We've taken the bumper off as well to see the extent of the damage, and we can see clearly here that this has been pushed in this corner here. I'll just show you and compare sides. So that is that corner there, and that's what it's supposed to look like. So yeah, so a little bit more way to go, but the idea is to pull it out as much as possible, and that way that means that when it goes to the body shop they don't have so much to do. And what they do, you can get this whole panel here comes as a replacement, and it goes right down to the sill, which is perfect. But in order to do that, you do need to push these out first. So we're going to do that. So we'll see if we can get this as straight as possible. See if we can get this kink out here to try and make that sit flat. Let's see what we can do. So I think that is the best we're going to get this. Don't think we're going to get it any better than that, but it is, I think it's better, much better than it was, and at least this is closing better now, because before the charging flap couldn't open, it was stuck, but now it can open and it's almost in line. But we're going to get a panel to replace that. The body shop will probably do some more pulling. It will pull out here and back here, and you can see where the seam has come away. You can see that all that hair will need to be sorted. So yeah, it's going to cost a fair little penny now to get that right. Okay, right, let's now go to underneath the car, because we've started to do some prep work, and I'll show you what we've done so far. It's a little bit involved, but hopefully you'll be able to figure out. So what we've done, we've taken out the center bolts. There's 4 center bolts to hold the battery in place, and then we need to take this trim out here, which we will do, and then we've got about 8 bolts. And the back here we've got this panel that needs to come off, and then once we take this panel, then you can probably just see the orange cable just through that gap there. That's our power cables. Okay, this here is holding the weight of the battery, because once you take the 4 bolts off, according to the VW manual, you then have to put a hoist in or a lift to put that in. Now this isn't as big as the one that they say, but it is definitely rated. The battery weighs about 206 kilos. This thing here is rated to 300 kilos, so it's well within weight. It just hasn't got the breadth, and if you notice, well, you probably won't notice, but it's more biased towards that way, because at the back here there's a couple of spare slots, so the weight is more distributed over there. Right, that's going to be next week. I've got someone coming to help me who is a level 4 EV electrician, so he is skilled, and he's going to help me hopefully get this out. Yeah, but what I've done, I've just done some prep work and taken off a lot of all the screws, etc., so we can get that work started and not be held up by that. So that's where we are so far. Okay, so those that back's looking a lot better, or at least better than it was, and I'm glad that we can get the charging bay open and closing where we couldn't before. Right, so we've got some doors that are hopefully going to come in within the next couple of weeks, and we need to get the dashboard out and the airbags, the curtains, because they're all going to go back to get sorted. And of course, hopefully next week we're going to be doing the battery, but if we don't do a battery next week, we'll be taking the dashboard out. So lots still to come, and hope you look forward to enjoying it. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe down here, click on the bell notification if you will. That'd be much appreciated. And don't forget, it is free to subscribe. So if you want to see what's happening with this car and some more tips on how to repair an ID free, stay tuned to this channel, and we will see you next week. Have a good one.